Any questions?
No, so we are ready to roll.
I need to have lunch with you guys too.
Sounds good.
Live.
Hello, everyone. I can hear me.
Can't hear you.
I can't hear me. I can hear me now. Well, you didn't give me my bumper, man. Are you falling asleep or something?
No, it was. I had the headphones down.
Oh, it was a gerbil in the. It was a gerbil in the. Hey, listen. Welcome. I normally start off kind of moving and shaking and gyrating, with a sung bumper. But you know what? You have to be on your cues. Josh said it was his fault. But okay, this is your first mistake the last 2 years. All right, so this is your first hard mistake, so don't let it happen again. So Josh is on it 99.9% of the time. I am so delighted to have you join us. I guess if you're viewing us and listening, you're probably saying, well, what happened? Well, you just have to be ready. You never know. Sometimes life is about unpredictability. All right. And the question becomes, what are you going to do? I'm reminded of the very title of this program, Defining Moments. We all have defining moments in our lives. Some we know are coming. It's like a storm brewing on the horizon. You see it coming, but then there are dust storms that just come from nowhere. You didn't expect it, but the question becomes what to do. Many of us have had to deal with limit situations and circumstances in our lives that we didn't expect. The question is, what are you going to do? I submit to you that we all have defining moments. Many of us have more than one. The objective is that God will not allow you to become overcome by them, taken out by them, but define the best that God put you for. And so storms are not here to overtake, to kill you, to strengthen you, and to stretch you. Things work together good. He didn't say all things were good, but all things work together for. It's like ingredients in a cake, if you will. Not that I can make one, but it just sounds like a good analogy. If you take one ingredient and you just gobble it down, it's bitter. But if you put the ingredient together and allow the cake to go through the process, then it turns out very, very tasty. Sometimes God allows us to go through seasons, and He introduces us purposefully to things that sometimes seems bitter. Stay focused on the talk about that today with my delight. Stay focused, then though it may seem bitter, it will turn out for your good. Thank you for joining me. I know that we have many of you that listen to us. You listen to us on your radio dial. We have a lot of delivery drivers and listen to us. Thank you very much. We have truck drivers, delivery drivers. You're in your homes, you're in your vehicles. Thank you. And then there are those of you who stream on your various social media apparatus. Thank you for tuning in today. I am delighted to have John Mark and Casey. I mispronounced her name throughout the entire program several months ago, and I apologize to her. She is just a gentle lady, and she didn't correct me. But then, truth be known, in full transparency, because he is my brother, John Mark, he corrected me at the end of the program. So he had your back. Casey, they are founders of Cut and Dry Gym. If you want to know where to go and to get it done with all of the flam and the flair, now they have that too. But if you're interested in them investing in you more than all of the glitz and glam, then this is the place that you need to go. Look it up on their, you can, they have various social media apparatuses that you can go to, but it's Cut and Dry Gym. Is it cutanddragym.com?
Yes. cutanddragym.com. They got Google and Facebook and Instagram and all this.
And if you Google their name, you're like, man, Larry, they're like celebrities. Well, I know people name dropping. I have it like that. Because they're celebrities in the fitness and bodybuilding world. They are celebrities. And we're going to talk about that. But this is what I said. I said, I trolled Casey's and John Mark's Facebook, and Casey posted something a while back, and it really grabbed me. And it said, food is the most abused anxiety drug. Exercise is the most unutilized antidepressant. And that grabbed me because I admitted to you that I'm an anxiety eater. I eat when I'm under anxiety. I didn't realize that until I saw that post, Casey. But I'm a snackaholic. But what I've learned is that if I'm going to snack healthy, but I also realize that when I go to the gym, I snack less. And now I understand why. Because the gym becomes my source of releasing all of the anxiety. John Mark and Casey, welcome back to Defining Moments.
Thank you for having us.
Now listen, we have a lot to talk about. And so I cited a statistic, and I said that up to 99% of people who make New Year's resolutions, by now, they're like 45 days in, those New Year's resolutions have been busted. They're going to say, I'm going to lose weight. Okay, I'm going to go from a size 50 to a size 32 in waist for men. I'm going to go from a size 16 or 18 for ladies to down petite 6. And now they're frustrated and it doesn't happen. I want you to speak to why, Casey. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, and John Mark, these are not just knockoff personalities that are just big and buff. There's a science. There's a spiritual reason. And we're going to talk about all of that today. But I want you to speak to why are resolutions so easily broken, Casey. And then I want you to chime in, John Mark.
Well, one reason why it's like when you're ready to make that commitment, you've got to make it. It can't be driven by, oh, it's January 1st. I've got to do something different. So I hate the New Year's resolution bandwagon. Just making sure that you're ready in your heart to make the change. It can't be pushed by anything else, or you won't stick with it.
So you're saying it's not necessarily the best time to to pull the triggers January 1st. I mean, you can pull the trigger July 1. You can pull the trigger today.
It's just a mindset. It's shifting your mindset. It's shifting. Okay, I'm ready for this lifestyle change. Something's got to change for your health, or for keeping up with your kids, or for whatever it is that's driving.
Do you think it's superficial to have the motivations because I want to look like Casey?
No, not at all. If that's where your drive comes from, go for it. As long as you can stick with it for that reason.
Because if you want to look like Casey, her physical physique, then that means you got to put the work in.
It is consistency.
Consistency. Keywords: consistency. So what saith you, John Mark?
Well,
Come close to the mic.
Catching on what she said with the aspect of consistency offsets habit. It takes about at least 3 or 4 weeks to get into a habitual stasis of doing something that classifies as a routine. So when you said the 45 days of somebody being on their fitness walk, that's really right at the neck of when they start to needing to push a little bit further because they may not be seeing the results.
So normally when people quit, it's the time that it could be that very next step or that very next day that could be the moment that they make that transition.
Exactly. Because of when you think about dieting and everything, the consistency aspect of the food, the water, all of those things allow the body to alter itself in compensation for what you put in. So therefore, if you start to working out in a calorie deficit, your body is going to be looking for you to mess up so that it says, okay, I don't need to change to compensate for this. So the more consistent you stay to it, you force the body to say, okay, I need to change because, wow, we've been doing this for 3 weeks and I'm not eating the same way that I need to. So I need to let go of this weight to compensate for the food that I am being given. So your body adapts to whatever you put it through. And the consistency is what allows you to make those changes.
Before I get all technical and scientific. So I went on this purging process a couple of years ago before I joined the gym, and I just stopped eating sweets, processed sweets, and I guess about 2 months into it, we're at some kind of celebration, birthday party, and I ate a slice of cake, and that cake tasted as if people had put 7 pounds of sugar in that cake. And a friend of mine who's a medical doctor says because your palate had been clogged, the pores of your tongue had been clogged with preservatives. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Hey Lloyd, good to see you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. He's a baseball athlete. We'll be back more than funny moment. Yeah, Lloyd, good to see you, man. This guy's like 7 feet tall and is a pro baseball player, man, and has a physique. Man, I need to look like you and John Mark, man, you know. But I was surprised, and it made sense because you eat foods that's preserved with preservatives, and it clogs the palate, and because it doesn't necessarily have a flavorful taste, then you add more to it, salts and flavoring, and you oversaturate it, and that stuff is going into your body, and it's harming your body. What saith you to that?
Yeah,
Casey?
I completely agree. I mean, the more the preserves, whole foods, that's what you're looking for. We want to make sure that it's good vegetables, good fruits. That's where your sugars are coming from. Yeah, that's where your natural sugars and carbs are coming from. Just, my mom always said, shop the perimeter of the grocery store.
Shop the perimeters of the grocery store. You had a wise mother.
Yeah. So you're getting your eggs, you're getting your dairy, you're getting your proteins, you're getting your fruits and your vegetables. What do you need down in the middle of the aisle?
When you go down the middle, that's all.
And not only in the middle of the aisle, but at the end caps.
Yes, sir.
Just when you're standing in line and you're doodling, waiting for your turn, you see you see everything but what's healthy. You don't see the celery, you don't see the apples, you don't see you see junk food, and you're like, oh, I'll just add this, and I'll add that, and all of that stuff is going inside of our bodies, and the only people that are getting wealthy from that, the pharmaceutical companies and the manufacturers of this food, and our bodies are unhealthy. I'm going to put a little dressing on the mannequin, if you will, and just because I'm talking to 2 experts. So what makes you experts? Well, once again, I said, you know what, if you Google their names, you're like, okay, man, they're the real deal. So share a bit about your testimony, because I know you just didn't get here looking like you and being a corporate guru like you are overnight, nor did you, John Mark. God had to do some pruning, and you had to come to some realizations in life, because there are people that are watching, and there are people that are listening. They have desires, they have goals, but for somewhere along the way, depression has set in. Failure, they think, because they've made bad choices, that they can never come out of that hole. And you guys are living epistles. You're living witnesses that God has a purpose, and if you focus on the right thing, then He'll continue to bless you. So stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Defining a Moment. I'm your host, Larry Nix, and I'm delighted to have 2 of my friends, John Mark and Casey. They're founders and owners of Cut and Dry Gym. You can Google that, and if you're tired of feeling sluggish, and I'm not necessarily saying that your end goal is to look like Casey, and your end goal is to look like John Mark, because if you want to look like that, then you got to put in the work. But the end goal really should be to live healthier, to have healthier habits. And as personal trainers, certified personal trainers, their goal is not to have you to look like Mr. and Mrs. Olympics. If that happens, okay. But it's that you live healthier. And I asked in the commercial, I asked Casey if she would share her journey as well as John Mark. And where they are is of no incident, but it's providential that they're in the space.
Yeah. So I guess my journey really started probably about 2016. I was kind of being a mom, trying to find me again. Started in the gym, and it was a couple of years after that that I really dove into it. Going through a difficult season of life, things changing, and not much that I felt like I had very much control over. So this was the one thing that I could control. I could control how I felt and how I looked and how well my body functioned by the food that I put in it, by the exercise that I put through. And that just grew from there. It was just a way that I felt like I could take this into every other area of life. I can control this one thing, then I can have the discipline for this over here, and the consistency for this over here, and to just make you a more whole person, a more better employee, a better business person, a better moral.
You feel better.
Feel better.
You
Yeah.
said something, and I made it a part of my post earlier in the week. You said, and I want you to explain that. You said the gym. I gave a synoptic version of the Cliff Note version, but you said the gym saved your life.
Absolutely.
What does that mean?
Like I said, it was a darker time of my life, and without having that focus of a healthier lifestyle, I'm not sure what road it would have gone down. I stopped drinking when I started going to the gym and just relating everything to a healthier perspective. And it's driven me, it's given me purpose. And because of that, it led me to John Mark, to where we are right now, and being able to impact the community like we are up here.
So this is that moment of transparency,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And people tune in, and people embrace this program. I was flying out earlier last month, and I flew out like on a Tuesday, and I got stopped by a TSA employee, and she said, "So you're flying out?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "How long have you been gone?" I said, "I'm going to be gone, for a while." I don't know. She said, "So who's going to do your program?" And I said, "Well, I have a special feeling guest host." And she said, "I derive so much. I am blessed so much by your program." And I said, "Why?" And she says, "Because you're transparent, and the guest that you have on the program, they're not superficial, they're for real, not set you up." All right.
Yeah.
The reason why I said that is because there are those that are watching this program, that are listening to this program. They've made bad choices, or they've been victims of others making bad choices, and they feel that life holds nothing good for them. Or they feel that they're stuck, or some of the decisions that they've made now that they're stuck for the rest of their life, and there is no hope. As a poster child of redemption and restoration and all that is good, how would you encourage that person that's listening or looking, that if God did it for you, He can do it for them? How would you encourage them?
Absolutely. First of all, turn to God and let Him guide them, lead your path. Because I didn't do that in the decisions that got me to where I was, but I did that on the way out, and I've done that ever since. And life is not always smooth sailing, but I always know that I'm going to make it through it, because that my faith is always in Him, and I know the outcome will be good because He's leading it.
That's interesting, and that's so powerful. And thank you for being transparent, because I'm afraid that some folk believe that when they accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, it's going to be smooth sailing. No, sometimes just you wonder. You're like, what in the world? Where am I? But remember this: no matter what you're going through, no matter where you are, if you're a child of God, He's going to take care of you. Period. Now, the storm is not intended to defeat you. Thank you, Lord. It is intended to define you. And the Lord allows storms sometimes so that you can find out what you need to work on, areas of your life that you need to work on. But He is constantly begging unto you, come unto me, number one, and number two, I'm here. When He said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, then He means that. Because now, how would it be that God would inspire you to open a gym now because you're encouraging other people, the people in the lives that you touch as a result of it?
Every step that we've taken with this journey with the gym has not been planned. It's been leaps of faith. I mean, diving in leaps of faith
Most definitely.
from me getting into personal training, from the gym falling into our laps.
So did you know 20 years ago that you would be in this industry?
No, I would have never guessed that I would be sitting here.
I had been doing it for a long time, just personal training and the opportunity to just feeling to actually own my place, and just having the proper people around me that didn't want to see me. You'd be amazed at.
Wow. Hold on before you say it. Hold on. Hey, Diamond, good to see you. Where have you been? I enjoy seeing you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love your family. You said something, and you skirted over, but you got to put it in person. Come back. You said it's important to have people around you who don't want to see you.
Most definitely.
Say that again.
Just the people around me that did not want to see that information. They would come in and say, "Hey, this," and just the way that everybody came in, because we knew what it was like to have a gym. Like I did much of it was a family. Everybody said hi and bye, and they hugged you, and they talked to you, and they made you feel like you were part of something. And that's something that we have gotten away from in the business aspect of things. It's just sheer appreciation, gratitude for people coming into your world and pouring into you, because time is precious. And that's something that we have as much of as people think. They think they want to live forever. So every hi and bye, every hug and every thank you,
Wow.
you need to take that and take that and push it right back out to you, because it's something that people don't have to do, because they're paying you for a service. So that extra is what kept us feeding to bring something back and pouring into it, and the atmosphere just kept getting better and better and better.
Yeah, so it seems like to me, as much as it is a for-profit business, and by the way, I've said many times, God don't mind you having stuff.
Yes,
He don't want stuff having you.
yes,
There's no sin in being wealthy.
yes,
There's no sin in being rich.
Yes,
Let me just straighten that out.
yes,
There's so much I have to learn about the Bible, but I do know some stuff about the Bible and the Word, because I'm a student of the Word of God. The Word of God said, it didn't say money was evil, it said the love of it is evil.
True.
Okay, so God don't mind you having stuff, but He wants to know that He can trust you with it.
Yes, sir.
And if you will utilize it for His glory and the good of people around you. Listen, people speak of you well in the community, because every now and then when I'm in the marketplace, I bump into some of your members, Christian and Gina. Man, they think that you had something to do with inventing air and water. I'm like, no, they didn't have anything to do with that now. But I get it. They are just one. So it seems to me that your gym, though it's for profit, and that's okay. I hope you build 15 more around the country. But it seems to me that you see your gym as a ministering tool as well.
Absolutely.
Not just to make money, but to minister to people,
Yes, sir.
to get the best out of people.
Yep.
Why are you so a big gosh, a big, like the folk in the community, big old strapping guy like you, but yet you're so humble and tender.
Well, the thing about it is, when I was younger, I had a speech impediment, so I didn't talk about it. So the weight training actually gave me the confidence to start speaking, and started to be more articulate in the way that I carried myself. But I said, well, if I can control my speech, I can control what comes out of my mouth. I can control my look. So I wanted to take total control of the person that I was, and allow the body to be a product, but also open people's mind to what I had to say.
You know what? And let me say this. Hey, Aunt Dane, I see you watching all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much. Love you. And let me tell you something. God is doing something special in your life. I'm telling you, and you haven't seen anything yet. Pass the word to all those folk in Atlanta, Georgia. Listen, I get you, John Mark, because I was a stutterer. I couldn't put two words together without spitting on people and kicking people.
Yes, sir.
But how is it that God would take what people would perceive as your deficiency and turn it into your asset? A person who had a speech impediment, and now I'm a broadcaster. Only God. If He can do it for me, Casey, and John Mark, stay tuned more than So you had a speech impediment.
Yes, sir.
And what we have to realize is that God will take those perceived deficiencies and turn them into asset. Because Moses went to God. God says, go to Pharaoh and tell him. And Moses says, I gotta. God said, well, first of all, don't you know I know that? I didn't. All right. But I still appointed you to do it. And then I'm going to give you a helper, a translator, if you will, your brother Aaron. So where you feel you have deficiencies, God will give you assets. Interesting. Here I go. So the areas that you may feel deficient in, that's why God gave you Casey. The areas that you may feel deficient in, Casey, that's why God gave you John Mark.
Absolutely.
God is a God of order. Hey, Tina, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, I just know that, let me tell you something. Why is it that God had you on this program today? Not last week, not 3 months from now. Because people need to be helped. Casey. People need to be helped. John Mark. The world is beating them down. I mean, left, right. They're being told how bad they are. Some folks have been wounded inside the building called church. They've not recovered. You know, they're coming in the front door. They're leaving, through the back door. They're being wounded. And so I believe that God will give people like you the conviction to open up parachurches. Now, what does that mean? That means maybe not the steeple, but a safe place. A safe place that you can come in a wholesome environment. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Defining Moments. I'm your host, Larry Nix, and I am with just two wonderful, incredible people, Casey and John Mark. They're founders, owners of Cut and Dry. Tell me about Cut and Dry. Tell me what that is. You know, why not the big box? What's so different about what God gave you to open up as opposed to the big box or the place? Now, once again, this is not us beating down anybody else, but this is your uniqueness. Why you and why this?
Well, it's just a culture that we were accustomed to. Just cut and dry basically means plain and simple. Cut and dry.
Cut and dry.
There's no frills. There's no. We want everybody to be who they want to be. We don't discriminate against anybody. We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in their platform along accommodations that we have set, and everybody does it. Everybody picks up their weights. Everybody cleans up. We can look on appearance in our people are cleaning up after they get done weight training. They call, they text us. Everybody has our direct access to our phone line, cell phone. They call and say, "Hey, listen, something's broken here. Just wanted to let you know. Hey, listen, I picked up this for you. Hey, listen, I picked up," because it's something special because they know the foundation that it came from.
So you said something earlier, Casey, and I want to come back and revisit this. I just bring the Holy Spirit to go back and revisit this because this program is not about pumping weights.
True.
It's about living healthy, living healthier, making healthier decisions. But you said something earlier. You said, but the first step is you got to want to.
Most definitely.
Explain that out.
Somebody can tell you on their own, well, you'd be healthier if you go to a doctor, for example. You've got high cholesterol. Your knees bothering you because you need to lose weight. Whatever the ailment may be. A lot of times that's fixable with exercise.
Hold on. Yeah. I've been professionally trained as well, so I know how not to interrupt. But you just said, I know you're right.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the ailments that folk are dealing with, that they're making the drug companies gazillionaires, they're fixable by life's choices. The stuff we're putting down our mouth is just, and it has no nutritional value to it. It may taste good, but is it good?
Yes, sir.
The sodium that we put in our bodies, it tastes good, but is it good? I mean, if you utilize the full lifespan of your vehicle, all right, fine, just go get another one.
Exactly.
But now when you wear you out, now who you gonna go to?
Yes, sir. True.
I interrupted you. Go
No,
back.
you're
That was
fine.
that was a hard interruption.
That was
But-
okay.
But you're the expert.
Well, just food being what's fixable.
Yeah.
And being able to repair it from that standpoint. And are you going to listen to the doctor, or are you going to wait till you're ready to put down that sandwich or that cheeseburger or whatever it may be? We've got several people that we've come in contact with that have stepped inside the door and thought that that's where they wanted. Been there because the doctor told them that's what they needed to do. But it wasn't until months later that they circle back around and fully make the commitment.
But that's need. True.
Yeah, because they see that they not somebody telling them that.
Exactly.
So you got to want to hear it first.
Gotta want that.
So even though I know that my doctor told me, my family members telling me, everybody in the community, the folks at church, they're telling me, until you get it in your heart that I need to do this for self, then it's not going to happen.
Or you're not going to stick with it.
Or you're not going to stick with it. Because I'm sure you see people coming in your door first of January, and middle part of February, March, they're like, well, they're not showing up anymore. But yours may be a little bit differently, because before you become the personal trainer, now it's just Joel. It's a different story. But as a personal trainer, then you sit down and you have an assessment with them, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, so we sat down and talked to everybody. We would like to. We sat down and talked to them, and we get a better understanding of who they are, what they need, and how we go about doing that based on what they do daily. So your diet revolves on what you do daily. So if you have a more outdoors job, or you're a nurse and constantly on your feet, you may need more protein, carbs, and fats than somebody that has a sedentary desk job.
So it's all fat bad.
No, sir. No, sir. You have polysaturated, monosaturated, and trans fats. All of those the body utilizes.
All right, now here we go. Doing the scientific stuff now. I'm tying my seatbelt. I'm holding on.
And what goes with that is the body utilizes those things at certain times. So, but the worst part about it is that if the body doesn't have a use for that fat, it will store it.
Wow.
Most definitely.
So there, how many kinds of fat, and what are the names?
Polysaturated, monosaturated, and trans fats. You have three major fats that you can look at on your nutrition facts of something that you eat. And one of the biggest things that we do see is that people want to restrict carbohydrates. Big thing. It's not the carb, it's what surrounds the carbohydrates.
I know. So people say, well, listen, don't eat bread.
Yes, that's not true.
I mean, but if you eat bread and hot dogs and hamburgers all your life, and all of a sudden people like telling you not to eat bread, then eventually you're going to get tired of everybody eating bread around you, and you're going to start sneaking bread, and then you're going to overdo it.
Well, this is the fact about bread. Take a look at the nutrition facts on your bread. What is the nutrition facts for fat in bread? There's no fat in bread. One slice of bread is probably about 24 to 27 grams of carbohydrates. So you can have bread. It just depends on what you're going to do with it after.
You can't have a loaf of
You
bread.
can't have a loaf of bread, but you can have a slice, and you can cut that slice into a half and put what you want on there. You still have 27 grams of carbs. So it's not what it looks like. It's about what you're intaking for the betterment of your
So I'm not
body.
talking about a brand. I'm talking about bread. Is there a healthier bread than another kind of bread?
They have all types of bread where they may have less sodium, less sugars in them and stuff like that. They have the 100 calorie bread. It's still 27 grams of carbs, but they have taken out some of the things in the equation that makes the loaf bigger than what it is supposed to be.
So when you're, that's interesting, because the whole topic several years ago, when people used to go to places, fast food places that sell chicken, we're not going to mention any names, that the breast of the chickens were just twice the size
Yes,
of
sir.
what it needs to look like because of artificial hormones.
Yes,
And that stuff that you're eating, the stuff that they put in a chicken or any other product, it's going in your body.
Yes, sir.
So what you're saying earlier, go back to the bread, or go back to the fats rather,
Mhm.
what your body is not utilizing
Yes, sir.
for energy and strength,
Yes, sir.
it is stored.
It will store.
And hence,
That's
overweight
what the overweight
becomes.
Yes, sir.
That's educated. That is an incredible educational fact.
Yes, sir. Well, that's the whole thing about it. That's what we do is we get information because the Bible, there's a scripture that says, "My people are destroyed
For lack of knowledge.
and we're not getting information. People are just taking, oh, I got this pill. Oh, here, try this because this worked for me. That may not be what you need."
And so the reality is, I don't care if you and during the pandemic,
Yes, sir.
man, people listen. During the pandemic, you couldn't hardly find a vitamin on the shelf
Mhm.
because people were buying vitamin this, vitamin that, vitamin this, vitamin that, and coming out of the pandemic, they're as unhealthy because they didn't move.
Because it was the fear tactic of everything.
Stay inside. And people didn't move. They
Yeah.
didn't go for a walk. They didn't
Yes, sir.
exercise.
Yeah.
And so so when I hear about lifestyles, you're saying, Casey, that you need to get it in move it from your head to your heart,
Yes, sir.
and that's where change occurs.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And then finding the right tools. Kind of what he was saying about information. But carbs and fats are sources of energy. So you can say, okay, I'm eating a sweet potato. This is good. This is healthy. But you're eating it at 8 o'clock at night. Your body's going to store it because it doesn't need it. So it's understanding how to use. So when we sit somebody down for these assessments, that's what we're going over. We're learning what they're doing daily, how often are they on their feet, how long is their day before they're sitting down, so that we know how long we need to be giving them those carbs and those fats for energy. If somebody's got that sedentary job, they're off work at 3 o'clock, then they're going home to sit down on their couch. They don't need all that stuff, or their body's going to store it.
Also, have a nurse that works overnight. So most of her food needs to be taken in overnight. So you have to redo everything.
So now let me describe this menu to you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. And I want you to respond to it in one or two words. It's 8 o'clock at night. I've just gotten in from a hard day.
Okay.
All right. I sit down. I'm going to eat greens. I'm going to eat chicken or pork chops. I'm going to eat steak. I'm going to eat rice. I'm going to eat potatoes. I'm going to eat 2 rolls. I'm going to eat macaroni and cheese. I'm going to eat a salad with a lot of stuff on it. And I'm going to drink a Diet Coke. And it's 8:30 at night. And by 10 o'clock, I'm going to bed. I want you to hold on.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
I couldn't let it go. I saw Casey's face. I was like, buddy, you might want to just eat a ball. Hold on a second. Let's stay tuned. I'm with my guest. These are delightful people. Casey and John Mark on Defining Moment. So Casey was looking at me like, buddy, you just ate a bomb. I can tell you right now. So how
You said one or
with,
two words.
with as straight of a face as you can. Now tell me what's going to happen. Now tell me what I did wrong.
Well,
Besides everything.
no, we started.
Besides everything.
We had greens. We had chicken, which is lean meat. We were on the right track.
Right. But it's fried chicken.
Oh well, never mind. You didn't say it was fried.
Okay.
chicken.
All right. It's fried chicken, greens. It has ham hocks in the greens.
So
All right.
we're having soul food for dinner.
Right.
Okay,
Gotcha.
that's 5 pounds.
It's- And it's 8:30 at night. And I'm lethargic about 9:30, and I'm on the couch. And it's just I'm ready to go to bed.
I bet you are.
Okay. So how do you respond to that?
First of all, you're not going to feel very good. I bet you sleep good though. all that food sitting on your stomach like that. But your body's not going to utilize all that. First of all, terrible sources of energy. But then you're not going to use them.
So you just said the most important thing to me. Hello, Drusilla Burns, one of my favorite people in the whole world. Thank you for listening all the way from Detroit, Michigan. I promise you, I told you, when the next time I come to Detroit, probably be the next month and a half, I'm going to give you a call. And I'm going to take you out. Lunch is on me, and we're going to make sure that we have healthy food. Wink, wink. Okay. It's good to see you, Drusilla. I'll tell Carl you chimed in. All right, respond to that.
That,
You said 5. I can expect 5 pounds.
well, yeah, not just a fat though. I mean, water, sodium.
Because your food is not got, your body's not going to be able to get rid of that stuff.
Right. I think food is calories. Calories are energy. So if you're taking in all these calories,
That's good.
taking in all these calories but not expelling the energy, it's going to store them for you to use them later. But then you wake up and you have breakfast.
So hold that point. So you said food is calories, or food are calories,
Right.
calories energy.
Right.
So do you subscribe? Because a lot of folk out there calorie count. So do you subscribe to a certain number that is healthy for females and John Mark for a male?
Not a certain number
Not
for each one. So we kind of base it off of base metabolic rate. We're trying to figure out how many calories your body burns at a resting rate.
Resting rate meaning when you're resting, when you're sitting, when you're
Just for
sleeping.
your body to function. How many calories does it take for your body to function? And it's based off a formula. So you're looking at your age, your height, your weight, and then you look at how active the person
And
is.
it also depends on what the body structure already looks like
Yeah.
as well. So you have to take a look at what the presentation is based upon what you're getting out of the calories. So somebody that may be more obese, you have to restrict the calories to force the body to let go, because it is going to want to. Our goal is to force the body to say, I need to let go of this fat stored to compensate for the food that I'm getting in.
20.
And that's the major thing. So every food that you take in also has a purpose. You know, on
Every food has a purpose,
yes, sir.
more than just feeling good
Yes, sir.
psychologically.
Yes, sir.
When you eat, you need to eat with the purpose of. Okay, hold on. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Larry Nix, with my friends Casey and John Mark, owners and founders of Cut and Dry Gym. We're talking, yeah, it's good to look good. You know, I wore the shirt basically for Casey and John Mark because I have a couple of muscles that kind of bulge out. You know, see, you're so kind. You know, it's hard for you to find that muscle, but I'm, you know.
I knew you were looking good. I've seen improvements since the last time.
Thank
I'm
you.
working hard.
Thank you.
Pay attention to that also.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you saying that because I do commit, but I'm going to commit myself even more, you know, this year. Not because I want to look like you guys.
Yes,
If
sir.
that's the end goal, fine.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to live the time span that God purposed for my life.
Most definitely.
Period.
Everything.
That's my motivation. My motivation is I want to live of the time span that God created me for His glory and for me to do the good that He purposed for me on earth. And so let's get back. You know, it was kind of a light moment when I said I've eaten all these foods, and you said then you just threw it back. Because first of all, some of those foods were comfort foods and not necessarily healthy foods, and so I'll probably sleep good, but then that fat has been stored inside of my body.
Yes, sir.
And if you repeat that night after night, and you eat breakfast, that means you've piled on more calories, more fat on food that has not transferred itself out of your body, and it has stayed inside of your body.
Most definitely. And that's something that you just said also, comfort. You know, in the world that we live in now, that we're working more and getting paid less. So, you know, so sometimes the food is the only thing that makes people feel good about themselves. Not necessarily saying that that's a good or bad thing, because everybody deserves to feel good. But I would want to pray that people are more conscientious of when they're taking in these foods, because it's not bad to have a cheat meal and have bad food. It's not bad, because if you restrict yourself of those things, you're not living.
Yeah,
That's
moderate.
what it is.
You know, the law of physics says for every action there's equal and opposite reaction, and you're saying it's okay to go off the grid
Most
every
definitely.
now and then.
Yes,
It's okay to eat a hamburger. It's okay to eat a steak. It's okay to eat a bag of potato chips. It's okay to eat a bar, but don't let your being off the grid become the norm.
Yes, sir.
You know, there are exceptions, but don't allow your exceptions to become the norm.
Very true. Very true. Very true. And that's just what we are dealing with now. We are living in an age where people utilize things as comfort because it makes them feel better about it.
So a couple of speed round questions. So number one, if I'm not going to eat that food, but I'm hungry, I just got off work. All right. If I'm going to, and I know I'm going to get in bed 10, 30, 11 o'clock. So Casey and John Mark, if I'm going to eat, if I'm going to come home and I'm not eating, you know, and that's going to be my first meal of the day, which is a bad habit anyway.
Yes. Some people do it though.
So what would you suggest that I eat at that time of night? Knowing that I'm going to go to bed at 10, 30, 11 o'clock, what would be your suggestion? Now, I want to let you know we got a lot of people watching.
Absolutely. So one thing though is you said that may be the first meal that you eat all day. So the only meal that you're going to eat.
Yes.
So that plays a role in whether we're going to add fats center.
You're a great listener.
So the fats convert quickly. Your body breaks them down fast. So you're able to use that before you go to bed. Or your body's going to burn it off while you're sleeping during that resting period. You don't want to take in carbs because it takes our body longer to break down those carbs. Your complex carbs, rice, potatoes, oats, things like that. You can have your simple carbs, so your fruits that break down quickly, your vegetables that break down quickly. So if your last meal of the day, we're trying to burn it off, lean meats and vegetables, lean meats, chicken,
Lean,
turkey, tuna steaks,
Lean ground beef.
shrimp, lean ground
Stuff
beef.
like that, stuff that the body can actually break down. The lean ground beef at anything over 90% will allow the body to actually tie. So it'll be a slow digestion overnight, so you won't wake up hungry. Because if you haven't eaten, the body will store to compensate for food if you have not.
And that's a question too. Why, when you just ate a plate full of food, a 5-course meal, but then you wake up the next morning hungry?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, it boosts your digestive enzymes. When you're taking in stuff like that, it's going to boost your digestive enzymes. So your body's going to work harder to burn it off faster. So temporarily, your metabolism's going to go up. So
it is almost like you run a marathon that night because it sped up your metabolism, and your metabolism is still active by the time you wake up. You come out of that deep level of sleep, REM sleep, or whatever sleep. Wow.
And it's not bad. A lot of people don't like to take in breakfast either. I recommend taking in something because it does kickstart everything. So you think about when you wake up and you don't eat, you're putting your body at a deficit right off the bat with taking in no calories. So you're putting yourself in a deficit. So the body's going to have food to utilize its energy. So therefore, it's going to store to compensate for it. And people are like, I don't like breakfast. I just eat a big dinner. And I'm like, that's not good because you basically starve yourself all day. So the body says, okay, John Mark didn't feed me all day long, so I'm going to store this just so that I have energy for him to survive.
Now it's interesting you would say that, which was a segue, because the last time you were on, you said that you eat all during the day.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Now
sir.
quantify that. Now explain that as well as Cass. I want you to come to that as well.
So taking in a portionary meal of having breakfast first thing in the morning. Number one, the foods are cleaner, so the body can burn faster. When your body has
Bad things, food highly with high sodium.
sausage biscuit, all of the stuff you can get at a fast food place. The body has to overwork itself with energy, so whatever you put back in after that, the body's going to have to utilize that, and it just becomes a reoccurring cycle of gaining weight. So if you keep eating bad, you're going to gain weight. So when you're walking and you're 300 pounds, the body has to utilize something as energy. When you put bad food back in there, you just keep gaining weight because the body's just taking in fat to push itself. So it's going to have more fat to do that if you don't start cleaning it up. And that's where being overweight and obesity are different.
You know what? And explain that. But I was talking to a friend, and I had my annual physical about a month ago, and he said, "Larry, you're doing a great job. You're losing weight, But he's a friend that I can talk to as well. He said, I have some patients that are obese, and I see them because I've been their physician for 20, 30 years, and now they're beginning to complain about pain in their joints, in their knees, and in their hips. And I have shared with them, if you lose weight, then you're taking pressure off of your joints and knees. Explain that from a perspective that people don't understand. I mean, it really makes sense.
It does.
Well, if you're a man, then you're 6 feet tall, and you're meant to, they say that you're meant to weigh X amount. I'm not sure what it would be for 6 feet. But then you've got an extra 50 pounds that you're carrying the fat on top of that. One, you're putting a lot of pressure on your joints, your tendons, your organs, all of them. The heart having to pump blood through all that extra body and all that extra mass.
All of that fat that's in your veins and capillaries and arteries and stuff. So your body that's what elevates your blood pressure. So that's what high blood pressure comes from. It's from the body having to pressurize the blood more to function through the whole structure.
Man, man, that is, repeat that again. That is, because this thing seems so complicated and so scientific, and knowledge is power,
Yes, sir.
but it only becomes powerful when you utilize it.
Yes, sir.
And now explain what you just did about high blood pressure again.
Yes, high blood pressure is basically, and it can be a disease as well.
Sure.
It is something that is.
So we're sensitive to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially black males and females, because of they can go into the history of
Sure.
know how we used to eat because
Right.
of what was given to us.
Right.
So high blood pressure functions in our system a lot more, but it's also the plaque that is in the body structure. So the body has to pressurize the blood more to function, to send it all over the body. So you have proper circulation for your toes, your fingers, and your other vital lungs. Yeah.
So that means that your veins and your blood vessels is likened to when the pilot pressurizes the cabin
Mhm.
of an airplane,
Yes, sir.
so that the air can flow.
So it can get all over the body.
Body's the same way.
Mhm.
God has designed our body in such a way that, unfortunately, the trigger is that it becomes pressurized in order to send the body. It's like gravity.
Yes,
It
sir.
sends the body, but not. But God never made our bodies to be pressurized like that.
Yes, sir. Not to that extent. Sir. And you also have to know too that, say if somebody is overweight, you have to know that they're almost probably about, say, a 300-pound person, they may be 50 to 70% water on that, because the body has to hold more water so that the weight of the individual doesn't overheat. So when somebody loses 20 pounds and they're maybe 300, 400 pounds, it's more so water.
So your body, as you're overweight or obese, your body is holding more water.
Yes, sir.
As a radiator is to a vehicle,
Yes, sir.
than water is to your body. It restores it to keep it cool.
Yes, sir. And the only way to let go of that water is to consume more water. So people's water consumption is vital. So body holds water because of the lack of.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. More defining moments. We come back. So then, listen, I gotta get you guys back. Will you come back?
Always.
I think I'm gonna have you guys as resident experts around here, man. You gotta watch this guy, man. This is television aficionado here.
I want something. I don't know about that.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
man.
about that.
Hey, listen, man, that's Mr. Television there, man.
Yes, man.
News stories and sports, and
Awesome.
he's the man. So, but okay, 8:30 at night. Let's go back. All right, 8:30 at night. I feel like eating first meal of the day. What should be my meal?
At 8:30.
Uh-huh.
So we're looking back at your proteins.
Got it.
So chicken, turkey, tuna,
Right.
whitefish, shrimp,
Mhm.
all those things.
Mhm.
Then your vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're going to get your micronutrients from, your vitamins, all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And they're not a lot of calories. So you can use as many of those as you want.
I was taught that
Summer.
I'll hold on a minute. Man, I'm just getting not proper English, but you understand what I'm saying. Man, I'm just getting clogged up because this is great information. So that's why I got to, that's why I got to have you guys back to do a part 3. So what about the greener your plate, the healthier the plate?
That's what I was going to say about the vegetables. So I said as many vegetables as you want, but certain vegetables. Because when you're looking at your carrots and things like that, you're also looking at adding sugars. So one of the things we put on our meal plans is I give a list of us. Almost all of them are green veggies because the green vegetables don't have the sugars in them.
And they help you with your
5
digestion
minutes.
also.
And fiber.
Thank you, Josh. Josh, my producer said 5 minutes because he know I'm into it. Man, he's like the air traffic controller, man. Boy, he knows me well. Listen, he's been air trafficking, controlling the program since the inception. He knows me well because he knows that I'm engrossed in this program.
Yes, sir.
So I'm walking in for the first time, and I want to start regiment. So what happens? Take me through the process.
We greet you. We go just
But I see you're over there, and I walk. Listen, don't offend me now.
Yeah.
Because I get $500 old and some type of that looks like John. I want to lift those weights. I want to lift those weights by this time next week.
Well, that's the thing about it is that everybody has a journey. And it starts with you understanding
good.
what needs to be done to get yourself the way you want to be. And that's what we do in detail. So number one thing is weaning somebody into things, not overtaking them or putting too much on them at one time. And allow them to accept the goal. Allow them to reach a goal that is simple, and then we step it up from that.
That's
step.
good. That's good.
Yes, sir.
And you said, I love it when you said everybody has a journey. Yours is different than mine. Mine is different than yours. It is custom. It is unique. I need to take my eyes off of you and put my eyes off of me. That's where a lot of people make a mistake.
Big time.
Casey walked in and she sat down and said, Casey, let's arm wrestle. She said, you don't want to do that. She said, you don't want to do that. I just feel like I can take her. That's just my mind. But now when I grab her, and like bad move. So you are a personal trainer as well.
Yes, sir.
So I know your schedule, is loaded, but do you accept clients? Are you open enough to accept clients?
Most definitely. We
Okay.
always do. We are actually looking for trainers as well because we want to pass this on. We want to
Okay.
teach this like somebody else taught us. Like we had to talk. I have a degree in this. I didn't learn anything. I learned terminology in college.
Yeah.
But I had to actually get into the field to get an understanding
Yeah.
of what I learned.
I attended seminaries. In fact, I attended 2 seminaries. My pastor before I attended seminaries. He said seminary is not going to call you to your ministry. It's just going to sharpen the gift that's already inside of you.
And that's
know,
what it did.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what-
sharpened what was already inside of me. So if people would like to become a student, if they'd like to, embrace you as their personal trainer, how can they get in contact with you?
Well, we've got Facebook, we got Instagram, we have
How can they contact you?
that the messenger has for those. It comes to both of us on there. We've also got a website now. They can reach out to us on our website.
And the website is, because I
cutandjunkgym.com.
feel like some people are getting their ink pen right now, or pencil. So again, how can they get in contact with you?
Cutandjunkgym.com.
Okay.
And you can look on our website. You can search us on Google and find our contact info.
It's got
Shoot us a call.
Email is on there. as well.
Emails on there. Shoot us a call. And
Yeah.
reach out to us. I promise you, you'll never be the same.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so grateful to have them. Hello, Cynthia. It is always good to see you. Cynthia Brown, she's an author, and you're exactly right. It's a journey rather than a destination. So thank you. And you got to, first of all, you got to accept the fact it's a journey. And if you want to get to a place, then you gotta start. Okay? You got to start. That's the key of what you're saying. You got to start. You got to be honest with yourself, and you got to know that it's not for anybody else, but it's for you.
I'd like to touch on one thing that you said earlier. We've touched on a lot. We've gotten really deep into some science stuff here that maybe may make you feel like you can't get there yet.
Yeah.
Please understand that this is doable. That these are easy lifestyle transitions to reach your goal. So we've gone into the depths of it here.
Yeah.
But that's achievable.
Well, and for that, I wanted to talk about oftentimes we talk about it on a 30,000 foot level as opposed to ground level, and you're right. But thank you because you felt committed to say that. So thank you because it's achievable.
Oh, and I think it's too
Yeah.
complicated.
Because when people Google you, Google you, they're these and awards and stuff because these are professional. Is it bodybuilders? Okay, bodybuilders. I didn't want to give it.
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to mispronounce your title. And these are Peter. When you see Casey and John Mark, I mean, these guys are boom, 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 and they're on the national and regional stage. So, it takes work and effort to get there. And you just recently competed as well as yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I just jumped in there. She actually had a show like she was prepping for.
Yeah.
And she did very well. She was top 5 out of 32 girls at her first national competition.
15.
Wow. Well, Casey and John Mark, thank you. I feel like you're going to be back again and again and again. Thank you for joining us on Defining Moments. Remember this, nothing will change until you say so. See you.